How to take profits from crypto without selling. That is a weird title, isn't it, brother? Because you might be like, how is that even possible? If I spend $1,000 and I exit the bull run with 20, 25, 10, 15, whatever, surely I need to sell to get the cash. And that's true, but there's actually some secret hacks a lot of smart people like Michael Saylor, etc. are doing for tax reasons, and so that they don't really have to touch the profits. Now again, I'm not opposed to this, I'm not with this, I'm not for this, it just might be a strategy for us to think about by the bull run. So buckle up, really 3 main points I want to cover, and that is number 1, the elephant in the room, tax. Can you avoid it? How to avoid it? How to minimize it? One of the biggest problems a lot of us are going to have that make all the money. Now, the other problem is if we don't make any money, but if you're invested now, if you invest in the last 6 months, 1 year, like most of us have been, and that's not just to discredit new subscribers on this channel, get started today for a better tomorrow. But the biggest problem we're going to have, especially if we make a lot of money, and that is our goal, is the tax man, right? Depends what country you're in. Some of us might be in Dubai, where it's less, Thailand, where I think it's 10, 15 on capital gains, Puerto Rico, where I think it's 0. You can go there and make all the trades you want, pay 0%, but of course you sacrifice some stuff there. Or for us, UK, maybe 40% capital gains tax on big ones. Maybe it's less, but USA depends on the state. It can get some crazy. You might make 100 grand, you might pay 30, 40k to the tax man. Coming from somebody that maybe makes 30 to 40k and you just give that all away, it can suck. So we're going to talk about how to avoid that. Number 2 is liquidity pools, and number 3 is loans. A lot of you guys might be scared by liquidity pools and loans. Remember, we're trying to take profits from crypto without selling. That is a strategy. Now again, don't have to do this, but it's something to think about. Now tax. Let's get the boring elephant out of the room. I'm not your tax advisor, blah, 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 but here's what I know and here's what I've learned. Everything in crypto is taxed. In fact, everything in life is taxed, right? Everything. Now, you hold on to it, the tax man is coming at some point. He is coming. Even if you bought it today, you rid it up in the bull run, and then let's just say you decide to move to Puerto Rico, El Salvador, more tax friendly, especially for Bitcoin and Ethereum countries. You still have to pay in the original country because you bought in UK, you bought in USA, you bought in Canada. A lot of you guys don't understand that. You're going to get hit with a tax bill. Tax is only occurred when you sell the asset, okay, and you receive either cash or units of another cryptocurrency. And at this point, you have realized the gains and you have a taxable event. I just sold a property of mine, my old house, for about 30, 40k. I've not sold it yet, but that's the potential profit on the, not the income, the taxable event, right? The capital gains tax. Some of that is going to have to be paid, right? So I don't make 30 to 40k. Some of that is going to be taxable, right? Some of that has to be paid. Now here's how crypto taxes worked. Crypto is property, it's not currency. This is USA, for you guys call it IRS Form 8949. That is a different language to me. We don't have this IRS. We have a different form, but it's the same game. So the tax you owe is based on your capital gains or losses for the tax year. You know what's funny? People can actually lose. Like if you make money, you can actually make the money and then actually become a negative. Or if you lose the money, a lot of people in Celsius and Voyager, etc., those platforms went down. They actually had to pay tax on profits they never had, right? Because they might have had profits, but they never actually had it because obviously that company went bust, etc. So that's something you got to be aware of. Just keep that in mind. Now, selling, exchanging. So if you're doing any cryptocurrency trading, let's say you make $100 on a trade today, taxman's coming for that $100. He's coming for 1% of that, right? Short-term capital gains is a lot more crazier. So whatever money you make, all these trades that you're making, this is why I don't like to swap cryptocurrency too much, right? Although if you don't believe in the asset anymore, get out that asset, right? We don't want to go to zero. We want to have a good bull run. But if we're swapping cryptocurrency all the time, like a lot of newbies and Jeffries do, these are all taxable events, and I guarantee none of you guys have got that tracked, even me. You need to go back and find this out, because the tax man, he will come from you. Now that's obviously short-term gains. If you're doing, trades, etc. Long-term gains they could be 0%, of course, in Puerto Rico, I believe it is. They could be 15%, they could be 20%, they could be a lot more. It depends on the amount. Understand where you are in the world, and if you can get this might be more important than the cryptocurrencies you invest in. Because the cryptocurrency bull run, here's the facts, guys. If you just be safe and you just know what you're doing with how to exit the market, you can buy anything. You can almost buy anything if you're diverse enough, okay? And you're narrators, etc. But if you can nail this, this is how you save the money. You're going to save so much money on any cryptocurrency you hold. So really understand this. Maybe talk to a guy that's specialized in crypto tax, right? There's a lot of platforms you can use that can track this all for you for a very low subscription amount. Maybe get that installed in your wallets. Maybe think about it because it's very important. Liquidity pools. We obviously love these a lot. So the general overview of liquidity pools, they make it possible to trade crypto without needing for central immediately maintaining an order book. So a lot of these traders, they love to go here. They love to go to Uniswap, etc. That's why they exist. And this is a great opportunity for us. Okay. Now this allows traders, you might have used this yourself to buy a new coin. If a coin's not listed, for example, in a new pre-sale coin, or a coin's not listed on an exchange you like Coinbase, etc. You might have bought a coin on Uniswap. You might have bought a coin on one of these exchanges, like, Sui Wallet. You might have bought it on, what's the other one called? Let me just find it real quick. Phantom, right? You might have bought an exchange here. Now, you can be on the other side of the table, right? And that's where you collect the fees for these traders. So again, this allows traders to swap tokens directly from their wallets, reducing counterparty risk. Like if you don't like Coinbase, you don't like these centralized exchanges in the way, okay? There's a lot of thefts, employment thefts, there's a lot of higher fees on these exchanges. You can use these liquidity pools, and that's where their value is transacted back to you. This is where you can get passive income, right? So you can become like a mini exchange here, right? So these are two examples on a Uniswap pool I've obviously got Brett Ethereum, and I've got some Ethereum USDC. So I am the exchange when I provide liquidity, right? And I get unclaimed fees every single day, every single 4 hours, every single hour, every single second. As I make this video, this number, it all went up, okay? That's a beautiful thing, right? You can go to sleep and you can make money if you're in the right assets, if you're in the right platforms, right? I would never go and touch a pool or a platform unlike Uniswap that has 100 users, right? Very risky, right? Don't want to be involved there. So if you believe in the asset, this is where you can take advantage of this. You want to provide the liquidity for it. It's a win-win, because for me, just on these assets, I like Ethereum, I like Brett. Whatever coins you like, you find that for you. You don't have to like Brett, you don't have to like Ethereum, but if you can get liquidity on this and you're already holding them anyways, you can go and get free money in this bear/phase 1, phase 2 bull market, right? You can stack more of that coin for a better 2025 if you believe the bull market's going to be 2025. And chances are, if you invest in today, why would you not invest today if you don't believe there's going to be a bull market? Why would you invest today if you think it's going to go down? Don't invest, bro, right? And again, the goal is not about accumulating this dollar value. I'm not interested in dollar value. I'm interested in the 600 Brett, the 0.017 Ethereum since the last exchanges, the 11 USDC, the 0.05 Ethereum. I'm not interested in dollar value today because I put my dollar value in. If I believe in the bull run by 2025, I believe that the price of these assets will be higher. Then I'm interested in the dollar value. But again, with that comes this. Number one, what we just learned. This. Because this is all taxable. Okay, you can't get away from this. Now, maybe in Puerto Rico you can, but remember what we talked about before. If you're doing this in UK or you started just in USA, it's already taxed, right? Think about that. It's very important, but you can use this without having to sell your assets as to create passive income. The problem becomes, okay, if you believe in the bull market is going to be in 25, let's say we top out September 25. The problem now becomes is if we want to cash out, we have to pay the tax. But also, if you don't want to cash out and you just want to play the passive income game, again, all these little fees, they're actually taxable, right? So again, it's just like renting out a house. It's a great advantage of people that like crypto. You already believe in crypto. That's why I sold the property, because I would rather put that money in liquidity pools and assets I already like to give me more income, okay? Because it won't make me as much money as these liquidity pools on the house. Now, yes, it's good to be diverse, etc. But that house wasn't, I could have rented it out, but it wasn't going to get me nearly the amount of fucking money, fees, and as much as I could get in crypto. Of course, it's a riskier game, but that's just the game you play, right? So it's a great vehicle to not having to sell your crypto. But if you believe the top is going to be September 25, when these pools start going down in value, yes, you'll still get the fees, but your initial investment has went down. So say example, you have a liquidity here of 43 grand. Let's say you go and buy a house at 43 grand. Good luck. You maybe buy a shed. Okay. But let's say you could buy a house at 43k. The house isn't going to go down in value in a bear and bull market. It doesn't really exist, right? Yes, you get housing crashes, etc. But it's not going to be as volatile as Brett. Let's say Brett goes up to 10 billion market cap, which is what I'm hoping for. A lot of people thinking 30, 40, good luck with that. It doesn't really matter. But let's say it crashes back down in the bear market at 500 million. A house is not going to crash 80, 90%. It's very unlikely. You're not going to feel that. So there's pros and cons. Okay, now the pro could be to ride this up in the bull market, cash out and buy a couple of properties in the bear market, swap them over and do the gain in 2027, 2028. That is a great strategy, but again, you have this big problem of the tax man coming in. Every time you swap and sell and buy, you have to minimize this because it might not make it worth it. All the headaches of trying to calculate this, you have to see what makes sense for you. Now, here's one that I like, but what a lot of people won't like. Okay, because it can get you in a lot of trouble. I'll give you an example. There used to be a guy in our private community. His name started with a P. I'm not going to name his name. But he asked us one time, and it can be a great strategy. Michael Saylor talks about this. I think he made most of his wealth. Of course, he has Michael Saylor. He has MicroStrategy. He has a business. But he talks about platforms like this. Now, again, you can actually do this I think there's a bank in Sweden where you can give like your coins and they'll give you collateral-backed loans. Now, there was platforms like Celsius and all this thing, and this is what kind of put me off them for a while. And full transparency, I haven't done this, nor do I plan to do this, but it might be a better opportunity if like Bank of Scotland or like Chase Bank for you guys in the USA, because there's not a risk of logging on to Bank of Scotland and, 404 error, the website's down. That's what happened with Celsius, right? So I don't know what platform this is, but this is just a platform you can use right now to do the same as Celsius. Nexo will give you a loan, so Nexo survived the last bear market. They're still alive, but you have to be aware of the risks. I would much prefer to do this with a bank. So I could do this with Sweden right now. I'm not going to be able to do it in Brett, but I believe I can do an XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. They'll give me a collateral-backed loan, okay? They won't give me much yield, right? But understand how beautiful this game can be. So what Michael Saylor would suggest is he would say, let's say you have 3 or 4 Bitcoin or whatever coins you have. You can go and get a LTV, loan to value, and you can borrow against that. Now, this gets rid of number one, you don't pay any tax. Now, it's not all good, because I'll give you the story about the guy. His name started with a P. He wanted to take out, and again, this could be a great strategy. If you have a house fully paid off, let's say you have a 100 grand, 200 grand house, fully paid, you can still do this with a mortgage on it, but then you're getting yourself in a lot of risks. And I don't want this to sound too confusing, but it can also open the gateway to see what's possible without paying tax and with getting more money in your bank account while still holding the asset. So if you have a 200 grand house, let's say the bank will give you 100 grand. Okay. You could take that 100 grand and now open up a new mortgage to say, but now you have 100 grand to buy more cryptocurrency in the bull market. You ride that 100 grand up to 300-400k. Depends how risky you want to be. You could ride it up to $1 million if you want to be really risky, but just be careful, because now you own the bank 100 grand. You don't own the 100 grand immediately. You can set this over 15 years, 20 years, probably 30 years, right? And what you can do is just make a small payment every month, as long as you can afford it, right? Now again, we'll come back into collateral-backed loans with cryptocurrency. But that could be a great strategy to get an extra 100 grand if you got a fully paid off house. Okay? You could do this even with your car, right? If it's a high enough asset. If you've just got a shitty Vauxhall Corsa, good luck. But that could be a great strategy, because now you have 100 grand to ride up the bull run, 400-500k in easy assets. Solana will probably give you that. Ethereum, get close. Cash out, remember, taxable event. Pay off the loan. And now you have free assets. You have free money. Very good strategy if you know what you're doing. Crazy how that can work. So again, you don't really go and have to work for your money. You can just be smart with your money. Now, a crypto-backed loan is a little bit the same, but slightly different. There's a lot more risk here, and I'll tell you why. You could take loans against your crypto, tax-free. You could use that loan to purchase income-producing assets, e.g. a house. Again, we talked about how you can borrow against your house, but let's say you did this on your loan. Let's say you have a Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. You could do that to go and produce a house, or start liquidity pools, right? Now, don't let this get over your head. It doesn't have to be too complicated. It doesn't have to be scary, as long as you know what you're doing. You could pay back the loan while still making a profit, the monthly payment with the house, with the liquidity pools. Okay, or if you have a business or a job that pays enough, you could pay that off, pay back the loan, refinance, and take out profits on tax-free. Think about how crazy that is. That opens up the game. Okay, now again, if you have no money and no paid house and no assets at all, Jeffrey, get to fucking work, because you can't play this game. You've got an income problem. But this is for the guys that maybe have some assets, maybe have some cryptocurrency along the way because they've put in the work. Okay, now this is an option. And you might be able to do that with liquidity pool by parking them there to get that yield. Now here's the danger. Because everybody says, okay, let me go and do that now. Let me go and phone up the bank. Let me go and lock up my cryptocurrency assets. Just type in crypto-backed loans. You'll find some assets. Make sure you check the platforms. I could have mentioned this platform on the screen, but I didn't want to, just in case that platform went bust. That's for you to decide if you want to do that. But before you do that, let's talk about the dangers. The danger becomes if you do this against a crypto-backed loan. Okay, let's say you lock up some Bitcoin, some Solana, some Ethereum if you can. If that crypto, if we get a mini bear market tomorrow and that LTV, the loan to value, goes too high, higher than 100%, for example, you're going to be forced, you're going to get a margin call, as they say. So that cryptocurrency asset platform that you log in, there's going to be a big margin call, and they're going to say, hey, you need to settle this immediately, or they're going to liquidate you. They're going to sell your assets that you believe for a 2025 bull run. Okay, so it could be a big problem, because if you believe the assets are going to be higher, but they're margin calling you because, Bitcoin just took a big whoopsie-doopsie and all your little altcoins have trashed. If you can't fork up the cash, and they might only give you 24 hours, they might give you 14, they might only give you 4 hours, it depends. You're going to get emails, you're going to get phone calls, they're going to say, hey, you need to settle this now, Jeffrey, or we're selling your assets, because they have to cover the risk, right? So there's pros and cons to this. There's a lot of pros if in a bull market, but throughout the bull market, if you did this in the peak bear market, you'd be absolutely fine. You'd be printing. You could have paid off the loan by now. So just understand, if you're in it today, and if the bull market doesn't kick in, if we go sideways, fine. Doesn't really matter. You'll be fine. As long as you can pay off the monthly payments. In a mortgage on the crypto-backed loan, you're fine. Now this is great in an upward market, but it's brutal in the choppy oceans. Plus, a lot of people will get this wrong. If you've never had a fast car and that's your goal, good, that should be your goal. But if you take out the cash that these guys give you and you go and buy a Lambo, for example, okay, now you have a Lambo. But now you have insurance to pay for, now you have fuels to pay for, now you have tax to pay for. Then it becomes a problem, because if you get a margin call, you sell the Lambo, you can't get the fuel back, you don't get the insurance back. The Lambo's probably not going to be worth as much. If you know how to buy cars correctly, okay, maybe you make a profit. But now you don't have enough to pay back the loan. But what you should do is you should not do this to buy a Lambo. Once you get to the Lambo money, what you can do is you get these to pay for a Lambo. If you can build a big enough liquidity pools in the long game, use the unclaimed fees or the rental properties you buy if you want to go down that route. Use that to buy the Lambo. Don't do this to buy the Lambo. Just wait, because this is where shiny object syndrome will happen. You now have Lambo money, but do you buy the Lambo? Do you take the short straw, or would you play this a little bit longer? What I would do is I would use this to get yield in a property or pools to play the long game. Use that to pay the loan. The Lambo can come later. Long-term play here. So, what have you learned? Taxis, why they're important, the elephant in the room. Liquidity pools, how you can use them. And loans. Loans are the one where I would go and do some research. They can be fucking amazing. Fantastic. But if you don't know how to use them, like the guy I mentioned with P, he was going to take out a loan against his house, for example. I don't know if he did it, but if he did, and market went down, it could be a problem, because you have to pay that monthly off payment. If you bought the wrong altcoins, if you tried to go after some shit coins, meme coins, etc., and they go to zero, now you have a big loan. You didn't make any money. You actually did yourself a disservice. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.